recording? Okay, so tell me any questions here. I will go over it once more.
So in the other one we were talking about matter being avyakt. So is this the same state or is this something even before that?
That's a very good question. So according to me, this is the same state, that avyakt matter. However, I have to tell you that Swami Dayananda has said that this is a state before avyakt. Okay, so now I'm because it is Swami Dayananda, you have to give importance to it. But I have not found any other place where it has been said that there was a phase of matter, a form of matter which preceded avyakt or pradhan. Okay, even in Manusmriti and Sankhya and some other places where you get Upanishads, etc., you find that the starting stage is pradhan only. So and also the transformation from this unknown unknown initial form into pradhan is not mentioned in these mantras. That is another reason why I feel that that would not be the correct interpretation. I don't prescribe to it. Another thing which is there, let me share screen again.
I ask others to kindly mute.
Here in this Kuhakasya, in some declensions of the Vedas, this Kuha and Kasya is joined together. So it becomes Kuhakasya. And Kuhaka refers to the morning mist. Okay, so Swami Dayananda said that this morning mist and Sharman also, I must take it up here only. Sharman refers to joy or happiness. So he has said that this is actually Sharmani, and Sharman here refers to God. So this whole thing says that this matter in this state was so little in quantity that it was like the morning mist, which does not even cover the earth. Looking from above, you can see patches of earth through the mist. So like that, this matter was so little in quantity that there was no way that it could cover Brahma, which was far vast than this Kuhaka. That again, I am a little doubtful about that interpretation. So that is why I am giving you this one. Similarly, for Ambaha Kim Asid Gahanam Gabhiram, he has said that this Amba was again, was it as dense as God? Then again, the answer is no. It was nothing compared to God. And it could not displace God in any way. God still permeated everything. So this is the interpretation which he has taken. Then I am referring to one commentary by, 1 minute. By Swami Brahmamuni Parivrajak. Okay. And he has said, he has taken Asat as a lack of matter and Sat as visible matter. So he has said that there was no complete lack of matter. Also, there was no visible matter. So matter existed in a form which was invisible. Then he has taken space was without particles and spaces, and also that Paroyat, which is there, Vyoma Paroyat, that he has taken as the edges of space also did not exist. Then he has said that what was there to cover? So there was nothing to cover, so there was no cover. And then Sharman taking it again as joy or pleasure. So there was nothing, there were no beings, and there was no creation at this point. So there was nothing to consume and no being to consume it. So where is the question of any pleasure of beings? Okay, so the thing is, where was whose pleasure? Okay, ku kasya Sharman, where was whose pleasure? So there was no question of pleasure because there were no beings and there were no things which could be consumed. And there was no dense and deep body of water in which God could plant the seed of life. So this is his interpretation of this. I am showing you some alternate views which are there and how they differ from each other. Just going back to my own interpretation, also I wanted to tell you that this Kuha Kasya Sharman, here when we are saying that where was the support, then as I have told you, Ka is also the name of God. So the answer lies within the question itself, that God was the support of everything. Okay, that is a metaphor which is hidden inside this. Okay, then I here today for the first one, at least I want to give you some other interpretations as well. So there is the one which you are seeing over here is Basham's translation. This is then even non-existence was not there, nor existence. There was no air then, nor the space beyond it. What covered it? Where was it? In whose keeping? Was there then cosmic fluid in depths unfathomed? Then Ralph T.H. Griffith is a very famous translator of the Rigvedas. Even Basham has actually translated the Rigveda. So, but Griffith is more popular and more famous. So he has said, then was not non-existent nor existent. There was no realm of air, no sky beyond it. What covered it and where? And what gave shelter? Was water there? Unfathomed depth of water? Okay, so like that, these Western interpreters have done a very literal translation and have not been able to see the alankar which is there, where the answer is also hidden within the question.
Uttara, sorry, are you sharing some of the screen?
You can see the this one, right?
Yeah, the first one I got, but the other interpretation, were you showing us something else?
No.
Okay.
I am reading it out for you from elsewhere.
Okay.
Okay, so just going over it once more with my interpretation. In the beginning of creation, or rather I should say before the beginning of creation, what existed was like nothing or and something. So the nothing were matter and the souls, because they were non-functional at that time. And there was God who was conscious, who was the only Sat at that point in time. Then there was no Raj, which means there were no neutrons, protons, and other elementary particles, what to speak of atoms and so on, and planets and such kind of things. Then there was no Akash, no space, which we look upon as the emptiest of things. Even that was not there. So even this space not being there, is a modern understanding as well, that space is being created as universe is expanding and actually does not have any existence before that. So that is what this is also saying. And you saw in Sankhya also, it was said that the first thing to be created is space, and with space direction and time is created. So this again, you can see the origins coming from this mantra. Kim avarivaha, what was the covering? Why was all this invisible? So it was, this was invisible because it was not at this time available to the senses. There were no senses, and this was not in a form which can be sensed. Kuhakasya Sharman. What was the support for all this asat? So that was the sat part of it, which was God. Ambhaha kim asid gahanam gabhiram. What was this water like stuff which was there, which was extremely dense and extremely compacted? All right. So we'll move to the next one. Na mrityurasidamritam na tarhi. Na mrityurasidamritam na tarhi.
मृत्युरासीद्नमृतं न तर्हि
अमृतं न तर्हि
न रात्या न आसीत् प्रकेतः
न राज्ञा अहनासीत् प्रकेतः
आनीदवातं स्वधया तदेकम्
आनीदवातं स्वधया तदेकम्
तस्मात् धान्यन्न परः किञ्चनास
तस्माद्धन्यन्न परः किञ्चनास
So this gives more detail of the previous mantra. It says, na mrityuho asit, amritam na tarhi. At that time, there was no death, nor immortality. So because death can happen only when there is birth, and just now beings have not been born, therefore there is no birth. That is obvious. But then what about immortality? The immortals were there, right? Those who had attained moksha were there. Did they, were they conscious? So the Vedas tell you, no, they were also not there. Not there meaning they were there, they existed, but they were also in a stupor. Na ratryaha ahnaha asit praketaha. Of night and day, there was no sign. Okay, you would think that if there is darkness, then we should consider it night, as was considered in Genesis. But the Vedas are telling you that this darkness was not like night either. We will see in the next verse itself that this was such a dense darkness that you cannot even call it night. So it was of Ratri, and Ana means then day. Na asit praketaha. Praketaha means sign, any distinguishing feature by which you could say, oh, this is night, this is day. There was no such night and day. Day, of course, you can have only when there are bodies which are luminous, and then you have non-luminous bodies which are going around it. Anid avatam swadhaya tadekam. At that time, there existed one which swadhaya, by its own dharana shakti, swadha. Dha stands for dharan shakti. By its own dharan shakti, by its own capacity to hold itself, to support itself. It is something which does not need a support. That is Brahma we are talking about, of course. Avatam anit, without air. Avatam. Vat, air. Avatam, without air. Anit, breathed. Okay, so this ana pranane is the verb which is there here. Prana has originated from ana, which means to breathe. So at that time, there was this one thing which supported itself by itself and breathed. By breathe, of course, it doesn't mean that he was inhaling and exhaling. That is why it is said avatam. But he was conscious, because we associate life breath with pran, with life. Therefore, it is said that he was conscious. So again, you can see the explanation of the previous word mantras. The questions which are asked is being now given in this mantra. Tasmat ha anyat na paraha kinchana asa. Other than him, actually other than it, God is in neuter gender. Other than it, there did not exist anything else. Again, you can see that everything else, it is not that it is being negated that other souls did not exist or that matter did not exist, but it is being called did not exist and being called asat, because they were lying in a stupor. They were incapable of doing anything themselves. So it is being treated as almost nothing. Okay. Questions? This is a relatively simple verse. Nothing much is there. Okay. So let us just recap this and then we will say our prayer. Nasadasinno sadasi tadanim
नासदासीनो सदासीत् तदानीम्
नासीद्रजो नो व्योमा परो यत्
नासीद्रजो व्योमा परो यत्
किमावरीवः कुहकस्य शर्मन्
किमावरीवः कुहकस्य शर्मन्
अम्भः किमासीत् गहनं गभीरम्
अम्बः किमासीत् गहनं गभीरम्
न मृत्युरासीदमृतं न तर्हि
न मृत्युरासीदमृतं न तर्हि
न रात्र्या न आसीत् प्रकेतः
न रात्र्या न आसीत् प्रकेतः
आनीदवातं स्वधया तदेकम्
आनीदवातं स्वधया तदेकम्
तस्मात्थानन्यन् परकिञ्चनास
तस्माद्धान्यन्न परः किञ्चनास.
All right.
Okay.
You said because they were in a stupor. Who was in the stupor? The matter and everything.
Matter and this matter and the souls.
Souls. Okay.
Yeah.
So the space was there.
Which space?
See, five bhutas are there. Space within the space.
Nothing was
the
there,
matter
Guru.
and the
Oh.
soul was existed.
No,
No.
because
No.
space is also a pancha mahabhut which is created.
Panchama bhutas come, yeah.
So it is created. So because the creation has not started yet, this we are now describing the time before creation. We are describing the singularity in the beginning of the universe. So there is no space.
But, okay, so if the matter has to exist, it has to exist somewhere, no?
That's a good question. So there is a theory that there is some other form of space which is there, which it exists. But it is something like we cannot understand a world without time. So also we cannot understand something without space. So maybe it is just a shortcoming of our own brain, you know. Maybe we cannot understand something without space and time. These are such generic, absolutely basic fundamental things which our whole concepts uh, of this world depend on, of life itself, that we are not able to comprehend a state in which there is no space and there is no time. So by whatever the text say, there is no space, and so how this existed we cannot say. All right.
In the sense there, it was all in zero space.
Yes, correct. That is why actually it is seen as such a compacted thing. Even in this modern version where they have reached this singularity in whatever way, though actually everything is up for grabs at from that 375,000 time backwards. It's not really understood, and there are all kinds of theories floating around. Still, that singularity is generally agreed upon, that it was very dense piece of matter. We understand black holes as the densest forms of matter right now, but this is far, far, far denser than that.
So in the at time 0, all space was like in a point, so 0 size. Was it like that?
Yeah.
And then after that, the next instance, did space have a finite volume, or was it infinite?
No, it was it started small. So let me share that this thing again. So here, if you see this part, this is the beginning of the Big Bang, where we start with a point. And then this radius of this is equal to the radius of the sphere actually. So each each one is a slice that you are seeing in time of a three-dimensional universe you are seeing in 2D at each point in time. So from here to here, space expanded so much, and till today the space is expanding at a faster and faster pace.
Okay, but now the visible universe is finite, but they are I think they say that the universe is, if you take the total universe, it is infinite. So if it is infinite now, then it should be infinite back then also.
So it is the context in which you say infinite. See, when you are putting a radius here, then it automatically implies that there is a finiteness to the universe. So when somebody is saying infinite, it is because they are saying, you know, that the number of galaxies is more than the grains of sand on Earth. So if we are not able to count the grains of sand on Earth, then how do we go about counting the number of galaxies which exist? Then when galaxies we can't count, then how many suns are there in that? How many stars are there in that? Who is to determine what is the number of those? So in certain context, when somebody is speaking loosely, then they will say that the universe is infinite. That does not mean that the universe is really, really infinite.
Okay,
if
thank
you're
you.
talking in if somebody is talking in absolute terms, then what you are seeing here, this is giving you the radius of the universe as it exists today, 13.77 billion years down the line from that t is equal to 0.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Bhagini, did you say actually this expansion, of course, right at the beginning was faster than light, but is it right now the expansion is faster than light is also known?
No. That is not faster than light. In fact, all laws of physics are supposed to break down during this period. Before this CMB, in this area, there are actually not supposed to be too many laws of physics as we understand today to be operational at this time, because matter was so condensed. So nothing would operate in. That is why even particles were just started forming maybe towards the latter part of this. And this is, this timeline here is like the first second from year to year.
Yeah, I kind of gathered that the X is not completely linear. There is some
No.
logarithmicity to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're saying expansion is faster now, but still, like you say, it's within physics limits. But they're trying to explain it with dark energy forces, the acceleration of expansion.
Yes. So here,
Because normally it should only decelerate.
Exactly. So that is why they had to introduce this concept of dark energy. And because the amount of gravity which seemed to exist also for a given galaxy, the amount of pull that it was exerting was not proportional to the amount of visible matter which was there. By visible, of course, you don't mean only luminous, but you can figure out how much matter is there by certain means. That was also not sufficient to explain the gravitational pull, particularly on light rays. So that is how dark matter came about. So good, you brought up that question. So actually, in the known, I should say, non-understanding of the universe, known matter, which we know something about, comprises 4% of the universe.
Oh, that is actually significant number. You mean discounting the space? You mean just the matter? Okay.
Including whatever matter may be there in space. So even neutrinos are counted in this. So
Oh, you mean we are 4% density?
No. Of all the matter which seems to exist in this universe, which has been gauged because of these things which we are talking about dark energy, dark matter. So if we add all that stuff together, then we find that matter which we know, which we understand, is only 4%. And dark matter comprises 23%. And dark energy, which we comprehend even less than dark matter, we don't even know what it is 73%. Okay, so
Very
that
interesting.
is,
I didn't know about this triad split. Very nice.
yeah. So you can see we hardly understand anything about the universe, and yet only humans have this capacity to be able to drill back into time and try to come out with at least a theory of the creation of the universe, which is so fascinating if you really think about it. Okay, so let us go back to our Shanti mantras, or any other question is there? Okay, so let me share the Shanti mantra again.
So it can't keep on expanding, right? So the Vedas talk about again it going back to the singularity again, or
So that is something which I have not found. What we find is that the universe gets created, and then there is pralay, in which matter returns to this form, which we have talked about. But whether it shrinks into this form in that same reverse order, or whether there is some other way in which it returns to that original form, that I have not come across anything so far. So maybe
If it keeps expanding, also it can go to 0. So there are two options.
no, but the problem is that our theories, Vedas say that the universe gets created again and again in a cycle. So you have creation over here, the whole thing runs its cycle, then it ends with pralay. Then pralay, say creation starts again. And or rather, sorry, this pralay, this half Krishna Paksh, you can say, that during that time, all of the universe is lying in this stupor state. That means in this the condensed state as well, okay, existent in zero space. And then again the cycle of creation starts. So somehow you have to return to that zero state. Okay, so we cannot leave the universe uniform, which is actually one of the three endings which modern theories say that there could be three ways in which the universe could end. Either one is that the whole cycle goes back into reverse and we return to the singularity. That means this expansion, somewhere it will start collapsing. Then the other one is saying that at some point gravity will become so less, even this dark energy which is pushing out the universe, at some point it will start fading and it will become steady state, nothing will be moving. And the third one is called the big chill, which says that they will move away so far out with this expansion, expanding, it will expand at such a fast rate that very soon, then not very soon, but at some point they will the whole universe will become cold and dead. Okay, so these are the three possible scenarios. These are according to logical scenarios. So there is actually nobody knows which way it will go. Everything is up for grabs.
Yeah, the other amazing aspect of this whole theory of universe is this absolute zero concept. I mean, that's also very difficult to accept. How can there be some absolute zero temperature like that?
Yeah, yeah. And yet we see it, I mean, very close to zero we do find in the universe, in space.
Yeah, and we find nothing below that. Yes, that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so we do have 7 minutes. I can take one more question if somebody has. Okay. Okay.
You were going to tell us about that Rishi and Devta.
Rishi and Devata. Okay, so Devata is the first subject of the mantra. Okay, so for example, this one, the Devata is Bhava Vrittam, which means that as whatever is important in the mantra, that is the Devata. That means in this sukta, we cannot define a particular Devata. The Devata is changing with each mantra, so it has been left open. And Rishi is not the sage who first figured this out, which is, what our Arya Samajis talk about, but it is the second subject of the mantra. Typically, it is the speaker of the mantra, and the person who is being addressed is sometimes the Devata, or what is being talked about is the Devata. And Rishi is that hat of God which God is wearing while speaking this mantra. Okay, so for example, here it is Prajapatihi Parameshti. So the Prajapati, who is the creator of this universe, he is telling you about the creation of the universe. Okay. Okay, let's see our prayer then. Om Swayam Vajinstanvam Kalpayasva.
Om Swayam Vajinstam Kalpayasva.
Swayam Yajasva Swayam Jushasva.
Swayam Yajasva Swayam Jushasva.
Mahimate Anyena Nasannashe.
Mahimate Anyena Nasannashe.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay. Namaste, Dhanyavad. I hope this was enlightening.
Very much. Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad.
So I think I made a little bit of a mistake here. There should be an avagraha here and there should be Tiyanyena. I will correct this before. Anyway, I've shared it. Just one error is there, I think. Okay.
You will be sharing the notes, no, as usual?
Yeah, I'm sharing the notes. Yes. Okay.
Uttaraji,
Thank you.
PDF.
Thank you, Dhanyawad.
I think our young boy has a question.
Yeah, and you wanted to say something?
But, can you hear me properly?
Tell
Uh-huh.
me.
Can you hear me properly? Is the mic fine?
No, it is coming in up and down.
Oh, I'll put it in the chat.
I think it will help if all of us others mute.
Yeah.